Welcome back to the Midseason Showdown, everyone. We got Allan, Martinez, and Terry Hong coming up right now. And Rick, I think you're really excited for this match, aren't you? Alright, as soon as they're ready, we're going to get that match on the screen. And yeah, you know, today I was just talking around with everyone. Let's take a seat there. We've seen some really interesting teams, and today with these two, it's no different. We have on Allan's side Excelgor, Salamence, Umbreon, Tapu Lele, Groudon, and Dawnwing's Necrozma. Now, Umbreon and Excelgor has seen more use thanks to that Psychic Terrain, but Umbreon's pretty fun to see. And Terry has Xerneas, Rayquaza, Heatran, Mandibuzz, Amoonguss, and Togedemaru. And you know, Heatran and Mandibuzz here, I think Mandibuzz, I'm kind of got a connection to it. I used it in a tournament once, did really well. An online tournament got me, I think, into the top 60. So it's one of those Pokemon that no one sees coming. And it's like, oh man, this is actually now a threat, you know? It's got Tailwind. That's really fun. It's got Foul Play. And then Pluck was my kind of favorite thing to use with it. I don't know if Terry's carrying that. But Pluck is able to eat the berries of the opposing Pokemon. So it's like, just when you think you're going to get healed up, nope. Mandibuzz steals that from you. But definitely super fun Pokemon on both sides of the field. And we're going to see some really interesting matchups here. But Terry, you know, one thing I instantly see that I think Allan's going to have a bit of a tough time with is the Xerneas. If that Dawnwing's Necrozma does go for its Ultra Necrozma form, then Terry has, I think, countered 4 of Allan's Pokemon with Xerneas if he's able to get that Geomancy up. Allan, though, Allan, though, might be able to maybe... I'm trying to think. He's got some things to stop that. But we're going to see right off the bat that Necrozma and Tapu Lele combination first. With that Psychic Terrain. You know, Psychic Terrain, Psychic Spam is what we've kind of called it, and it kind of evolved once again when Ultra Necrozma came on the scene, and it looks like we might see that right now. But that was absolutely something that has kind of defined a whole new, like, really a whole new type of attack. We are going to see that Ultra Necrozma now, but you know, the Psychic Spam, you have 2 options. You either go for the Mega Metagross combo, which does make it a bulkier set, or you go Ultra Necrozma for ultimate power. You have your Z Crystal, you have all that. But Magic Room coming out from Tapu Lele as the Amoonguss protected, and now held items no longer have effects. Photon guys are targeting that Amoonguss, but it's not going to work. And the Tailwind from Mandibuzz is able to be put on the field right away. Mandibuzz, I think, you know, it's one of those Pokemon, like I said, that you just don't expect. Foul Play is usually the move it carries for a Dark move, so that does threaten both of Allan's Pokemon. But luckily for Allan, that does calculate based on the attack stats, so it's going to be a bit lower damage than normal, but we're gonna actually see Snarl on it. So Snarl is a huge player here because Psychic Spam, at least in Allan's side right now, definitely heavily relies on special attack. So getting that drop is super useful. So not gonna stop Photon Geyser from coming out and knocking out the Amoonguss though. So Terry gonna lose that Amoonguss right away, and now we have Tapu Lele here to go ahead and proceed with a Moonblast onto that Mandibuzz, but with that special attack drop, that's not going to get it under half health, so it's like right above it. So there's a shot it could have been a low damage roll and that it can be a 2-hit KO, but the odds that kind of slim. And there's that Xerneas that I was talking about earlier that it pretty much does take out a good chunk of Allan's team. With that Snarl, there is a legitimate shot of another Snarl and Geomancy combination. I think here that in this case, Xerneas is in a really great position. You know, Tapu Lele and Necrozma are the slower ones on the field thanks to the Tailwind. But but with that Tailwind, it's getting loud in here. Sorry about that. A bit of a train of thought. But with the Tailwind, it allows Xerneas to set up that special defense boost and special attack boost without having to worry about Tapu Lele or that Ultra Necrozma switched out now for Primal Groudon, dealing or having or to attack it first before the special defense boost. Now that it's a bit quieter, I've got my train of thought back, and because of that, we now see that Groudon. That Groudon is going to be very threatening because it does counter Xerneas very hard, but we actually see Xerneas just skip out on the Geomancy and straight out Moonblast onto that former Ultra Necrozma slot. Now the Primal Groudon slot. Another Snarl coming out, and another Moonblast from Tapu Lele, this time targeting the Xerneas. Didn't get that defense boost from the Geomancy, but it is going to drop its special attack. This is an interesting spot because I think personally, in this case, if I were Terry, I would maybe try and switch that Xerneas out if the Pokemon in the back of Xerneas is a bit faster. And of course, now I see why Xerneas didn't go for the Geomancy. Magic Room. Yeah, that's still in play. So Magic Room being in play means that the mental herb that Xerneas usually holds to get that Geomancy up is not going to be in effect. So I don't know if Terry maybe was thinking of sacrificing the Xerneas or going straight up, switch it out now that the Groudon's gone. I think he went in with it to try and get rid of the Ultra Necrozma, but now with that gone, that's going to be a bit tough. We do see Tapu Lele switch out after that -2 from the Snarl into Excelgor, protect from the Groudon. Excelgor didn't get the Psychic Seed boost because of Magic Room, and a Moonblast from the Xerneas onto the Excelgor gets it down under half and drops its special attack. And lastly, we see Roost from Mandibuzz, which is another card that you could just play. It's like, okay, nope, now I'll get rehealed again. Mandibuzz is actually, surprisingly, out of all the team, the one that has stayed on the field the longest, and I love that because it's just one of those ones you don't expect to be that bulky, but it really is. In this case, now looking at it, Allan's in a really tough spot, okay? I know with Excelgor, but Terry's in a really tough spot with the Xerneas because at this point, I think Groudon can go straight for the Precipice Blades. It depends on its attack stat and depends on Xerneas' defense stat. The Xerneas might be able to survive that, but if not, instant KO on the Xerneas. On the other side, if the Xerneas is faster than the Groudon and Excelgor, then we are going to see that Excelgor go down to probably a Moonblast. So it's an even trade-off here. But we see the Mandibuzz switch out for Rayquaza in favor of... Mandibuzz switch out in favor of Rayquaza and Xerneas protect. And now with the Magic Room gone, Xerneas can now set up that Geomancy. We now also, with the Psychic Terrain gone, it's a bit unfortunate for the Excelgor. Just missed out by one turn that possible Psychic Seed boost. That's interesting because Allan here, Excelgor is in a really tough spot. Can't really do much. Possible final Gambit, but I think it might be best to swap it out. We're going to see Terry switch out his Xerneas, come back in with that Mandibuzz, and try and set up another Tailwind eventually. And Groudon going to swap out as well to Tapu Lele. That was a bit tricky because you either switch the Excelgor out to Tapu Lele, or you risk Xerneas setting up that Geomancy. Luckily for Allan, Terry swapped his Xerneas. And now we also see Mega Rayquaza come onto the field. So now the new threat from Terry's side is no longer Xerneas, it's Rayquaza. But luckily for Allan, Rayquaza is a Dragon type. And we saw Encore as well come out from the Excelgor. Didn't quite get it. It was a bit too fast for that. But there is Dragon Ascent, and that is going to attack the Tapu Lele. Well, I was going to say Tapu Lele is a Dragon type. Tapu Lele can knock it out, but it is faster, and Dragon Ascent is a physical attack. It is now a really good spot for Terry. You've got the Xerneas in the back, which still can set up. It hasn't set up yet. And you have your Mega Rayquaza on the field. It is going to be interesting between Mega Rayquaza and an Ultra Necrozma. They're both very strong. I think Mega Rayquaza, with that Dragon Ascent, is going to be able to... It could definitely take out Excelgor, but it could be able to take out the Necrozma. It depends on the really certain investments. Also, with Necrozma, Necrozma is interesting because you have so many different options on it. You can go for Earth Power, you can go for Ice Beam, you can go for Photon Geyser or a Dragon Move. We see Excelgor start off with a Struggle Bug. It's going to lower the special attack of both of the opposing Pokemon. Not that Terry has any special attackers, but at this point, it's really the only thing that Excelgor can do. And we're going to see that Z-Crystal light that burns the sky from this Ultra Necrozma coming out. And that is definitely going to connect with the Mega Rayquaza, because obviously if they were to attack the Mandibuzz, that would be throwing your Z-Crystal down the drain, and I don't think any person wants to do that. And now time for this insanely epic and long animation. There it is. And there we go. There's the hit. There we go. Took a little bit of time, but we got to it. It takes a while to get. It's a fairly powerful Z move out on the field, and it does KO that Mega Rayquaza. So now Allan has the advantage in numbers, still having Tapu Lele in the back with his Excelgor and Ultra Necrozma in the front. Foul play from the Mandibuzz is able to take up the Ultra Necrozma. Okay, I'm sorry, not Tapu Lele. It is. Sorry, it is the Groudon. Okay, yeah, sorry, I just got distracted there with by that foul play. That was really awesome, you know. That's one thing. Mandibuzz, with that foul play, one thing I think, it's a misconception of foul play that's not good to use it against special attackers. But, you know, I personally think, as you saw there, Ultra Necrozma, not necessarily a physical attack, or it's definitely a special attacker most of the time, like we saw there with Light That Burns the Sky. But it really works. I mean, it could have been a physical Ultra Necrozma, but let's be real, it's most likely a special, and foul play was still able to knock it out. It's definitely one of those like misconceptions I see a lot of times. But anyway, that Mandibuzz is still in play along with Xerneas and Primal Groudon. Acid Spray coming out. That did very little, but it's going to drop the special defense harshly from Allan's Excelgor onto the Mandibuzz. Dazzling Gleam from the Xerneas is going to knock out Allan's Excelgor. He's now down to just Groudon. Groudon goes for that Eruption. And with that special defense drop, the Mandibuzz still takes it, goes for foul play again. And now that Mandibuzz took out both of Allan's legendaries. And it is going to give Terry the game. I swear, I told you that foul play, I might be just, like, I don't know, it's one of those moves that I'm always shocked with how good it does. Like, took out that Primal Groudon at half health, took out the Ultra Necrozma around 60%. It's definitely something that could come out of nowhere, and Terry proved that to take that game there. All right, now going back into this next match, looking at it, I'm thinking, Allan's, he's locked in really fast. You know, I don't know if Magic Room necessarily helped him there. Kind of made that Excelgor a bit useless at first. It was slower than a couple of the other Pokemon and wasn't able to get the boost with the Psychic Seed. So I'm not sure that necessarily helped. I'm not sure we'll see Magic Room again. It does kind of help, but looking at it helped for the Xerneas, but at the same time, Terry was still able to maneuver it where you didn't need the Xerneas, and I think maybe it might be better just bring out Groudon to try and counter Xerneas eventually. You could still try the Magic Room, but it might do more harm than good. All right, let's take a look. Terry gonna kick it off here with that Mandibuzz and Moongus lead once again. And we got Excelgor Tapu Lele from Allan's side, so we're going to start off with the Psychic Seed boost. And with that boost, which we are going to see now, Excelgor is fastest on the field. But that could change. You know, I think here Tapu Lele saw how much the Tailwind at least affected the match. So maybe want to go for a double attack on that Mandibuzz possible final Gambit, because we saw Encore, we saw, I believe, Struggle Bug, and we saw Acid Spray. So I think final Gambit's usually a typical final Excelgor move. So maybe go for that onto the Mandibuzz, partner it with the Moonblast. But Amoonguss is prepared for this. That's why it's going for Rage Powder. And it's going to be able to get Excelgor to Acid Spray the Amoonguss. That's going to lower its special defense by 2, and the Moonblast from Tapu Lele. So definitely looked like they were targeting that Mandibuzz, but Amoonguss coming out with that Rage Powder is going to get it down to around just above 50%, and the Tailwind does activate. So now Allan had that right strategy, but it's just tough to counter that Amoonguss there, because you kind of were destined to get Tailwinded against. But, you know, I think Terry, the only issue with Terry is his team doesn't necessarily have a very strong offensive force yet. Mandibuzz obviously has foul play. I think that can 2-hit KO Tapu Lele. Not sure about the Excelgor. We haven't seen it been used on Excelgor yet. But I think that just in general, that Mandibuzz is going to be able to do some decent damage onto Tapu Lele without any huge offensive force. And we do see that special defense drop. The Acid Spray does connect, and we see Snarl now. So Snarl going to lower both Tapu Lele and Excelgor's special attack, and that Mandibuzz is probably going to take around neutral damage because it's eating a berry, which is the, I believe, Roselia Berry. That's going to get the, Roselia Berry going to half the damage from a fairy attack, and you have, even though you have a special attack boost, or a special defense drop, you did have a special attack drop. So it calculated to where the Tapu Lele had +1, and with that berry, it neutralized it once again. But anyway, continuing the match, we then saw Tapu Lele get put to sleep by the Amoonguss. And now you're in a really tough spot. Mandibuzz can be able to switch out and come back in later for maximum support. And Xerneas is in a relatively safe spot to Geomancy. No Magic Room. Tapu Lele is asleep for at least one more turn. Excelgor going to go for Final Gambit, though. That's going to connect with the Xerneas. Gets it down to yellow health. Excelgor is gone. But it does put Allan in a better spot, because Allan can now go into the Groudon if he brought it back in again. Go for that Primal Evolution. As we see the Amoonguss Spore onto the Tapu Lele once again. That was probably going out to Excelgor, but what you going to do? It fainted itself. But now if you go into the Groudon slot, if you're Allan, you can go ahead and go for an Eruption to take out both of Terry's Pokemon, forcing him to probably switch out one or protect or try and sacrifice these two. But there's that Groudon going to go ahead and Primal Revert, and that Final Gambit might have saved Allan's match here if he's able to knock out both of Terry's Pokemon with this Groudon. It's a really safe play here, too, to go for Eruption, because Geomancy on Xerneas, they're probably not going to go for that with so little health. Go for Moonblast. That's not going to do too much onto either. It could do a decent amount of Tapu Lele, but for the most part, it's not going to really affect it that much. It kind of gives Tapu Lele time to switch out, or wake up, or switch out if it is hindered by the Amoonguss. But we do see that Rayquaza, which did Mega earlier, come out. Groudon going to protect this turn, kind of see what to do, what to scout out first. It's not really threatened by either of Terry's Pokemon, or wasn't. It might be by the Rayquaza. It depends if it carries Waterfall or not. And the Tailwind is gone from Terry's side as Tapu Lele stays asleep. So now, Terry has switched up his place here. He's in a better position. It really depends, though, on that Rayquaza. If Rayquaza is carrying Waterfall, then this Groudon is gone, and I think Allan's in a really bad spot. But Terry here, he has the option to sacrifice the Moongoose safely. We see Allan go ahead and switch into that Necrozma here, which will go ahead, or it's the Rayquaza that's going to Mega Evolve first, but Ultra Necrozma possibly coming out of the Necrozma. If it sometimes there's scenarios where it's better to actually stay into your form here. I don't know what Allan will be thinking, because this Dawnwing's Necrozma is a bit bulkier, as we're going to see it take this Dragon Ascent. Takes it really nicely, actually. Going to survive with just under half health. Now you can go for that, go ahead and use Ultra Necrozma without any real threat here. An Eruption from Groudon, not going to do very much onto the Rayquaza, but it does do a decent amount onto the Amoonguss and KOs it. And now we're back in the spot. Each team has 3 Pokemon left. I think Terry has a bit of an advantage because he's got the Xerneas and doesn't have to deal with the harsh sunlight anymore, so he can't, he isn't scared by any more eruptions. If you go for the Z Crystal onto the Groudon and then Dazzling Gleam, eventually or Moonblast, that could take it out. We see Mandibuzz, though, come out first to possibly set up Tailwind, which is what's going to give Terry that big boost there. This Groudon's in a tough spot because it kind of has to use Eruption, and that's not going to do too much onto either one. I'm sorry, Allan's in a tough spot against Terry. But we're going to see that Rayquaza just switch out. We're going to bring back out the Xerneas. Now, it doesn't have to deal with a boosted Eruption, but I think we might see Eruption anyway. There's that Fairy Aura going to activate. Not going to help anyone really but itself. And there's the Ultra Necrozma that we were looking for. I think Terry is sacrificing the Xerneas here, kind of using it as bait for Ultra Necrozma's Z Crystal. But Ultra Necrozma not going to go for that Z Crystal right away. Going to go for Photon Geyser to finish off the Xerneas. And I think that Allan might have just saved his game with that. We see the eruption, single target, full power eruption from a primal Groudon onto the Mandibuzz, and the Mandibuzz takes it and tailwinds. Mandibuzz is just coming in clutch here. It was able to knock out both of the Pokemon you see on Allan's side in the last match, and it's able to tailwind again, setting up Rayquaza for a better spot. That's just incredible. I don't understand how this Mandibuzz works, but I love it. I always have. Such a good Pokemon. You know, one thing I think Terry can do here is just, you can save this matchup. I don't think it's an impossible matchup. I think what you need to do is use your Mega Rayquaza appropriately. Your fastest, go for an attack to take out the Ultra Necrozma, and we are going to see the Crunch to do that, which crits too, just to add to it. And now you could go for Foul Play onto, or Roost, that's a smart play actually, Roost, to go then eventually Foul Play onto the Groudon. Groudon cannot hit Mega Rayquaza with Precipice Blades. It goes for Dragon Claw instead. That is going to be super effective against the Mega Rayquaza, but it's not going to completely knock it out, which means Mega Rayquaza stays alive for another round. Wow. Terry has been hanging on by a thread with all his Pokemon, and it has worked. Psychic Trade from Tapu Lele coming out. Tapu Lele still asleep, keep in mind. I think Allan still has a shot to take this game because Tapu Lele does have moves that were Moonblast, really. Will take out both of Terry's Pokemon if he's not careful, but it's going to have to, that's only really if it can wake it up this turn. Otherwise, we're going to see a Dragon Ascent from this Mega Rayquaza, target the Groudon. Oh, it's going to actually target the Tapu Lele. I was expecting a double target onto the Groudon, hoping that Tapu Lele stays asleep, but the Dragon Ascent's just going to get rid of the Tapu Lele in general, so there's no threat there. Now it's just the Primal Groudon. And this Mandibuzz going back to full health, going to try spamming Foul Play at full health. But Groudon, really, the only thing he could do here is Eruption or Dragon Claw. The Eruption, there's no uselessness in going for Eruption, and it does about a third on the Mandibuzz. And you know what? I think Mandibuzz is going to come in clutch and save Terry here, you know? All it needs to do is Foul Play and Roost. Alternate between the two, and Groudon doesn't have any means to recover from that. Plus, the Eruptions will keep getting less. It cannot Precipice Blades. It can Dragon Claw, but I'm not sure that necessarily that's going to really help it. For a single turn, it's going to be faster, though. So there is a shot that Foul Play does around half, so it really depends on how much Eruption's going to do right now. If it does half of the current health, and which it doesn't, it would have been able to knock out the Mandibuzz. But at this point, if you're Mandibuzz, you click on Roost, you get an extra turn there. Groudon going to try Dragon Claw instead to try and knock out the Mandibuzz, and it doesn't do it, and Mandibuzz goes for Tailwind instead, set it itself up once again. Now it's free to continuously Roost and spam out Allan. This Mandibuzz is single-handedly taking out a Primal Groudon. This is one of the most underrated Pokemon in the game for this reason, I feel. This is incredible. There is still a shot Allan can knock out this Mandibuzz, but I believe the only way he can do it is by critical hitting it with Dragon Claw or Eruption. Eruption we saw did I think a slightly bit more than which Allan is going to reflect here. I think he needs to critical hit this Eruption to knock it out. Does not do that. Mandibuzz free to Roost one more time. I am just shocked by this. I cannot believe this Groudon in a really tough spot. But you know, it's also thanks to Mandibuzz's typing. If Groudon was able to get Precipice Blades out, it wouldn't have worked as well. Unfortunately, as it's flying for Allan, it's a flying type, so that means Mandibuzz is free to Roost away. Gets it back up to around 80% of its health. Groudon goes for the Precipice Blades. Okay. Groudon used Precipice Blades. And I guess I'm confused on why, unless maybe it was... Yeah, that is something I did not expect, but at this point, that was a smart play. Going to see a Foul Play one more time. I'm just over here talking about how they can't Precipice Blades it because yeah, did we see Gravity earlier? But, I don't know. Oh, I don't know what happened, why I was able to hit it on that one turn. I guess Gravity came out and then maybe it disappeared, but either way, last second. So we heard what happened now. Precipice Blades, they roosted first. Yeah, don't forget, and this is something that I forget a lot, something that so many people forget that I've talked to. Roost changes type to normal, not flying. That's why I'm talking about why all the Mandibuzz is a flying type, of course. No, Mandibuzz is flying, but not when it uses Roost, which meant that the Precipice Blades could connect. And it looks like Allan realized that right at the last minute. So it was actually able to give him the win there. That was a bit confusing. I was like, because of gravity, what was it? Yeah, Roost. Everyone was like, kind of like, what's going on here? Roost from the Mandibuzz ended up being its downfall. Very smart from Allan. And then at the end, he just had to stall at that tailwind, went for that Dragon Claw, which has that 100% accuracy, I believe, and finished it off. What a play, though. Good job to Allan for that win. I mean, I didn't really give him credit when he won, so I want to congratulate him on that because that was a very smart strategy last minute. Took it home, and now we're going to go to a game 3. That Groudon hung on for a long time. It was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. All right, now take a breather. Let's see. Now that Terry kind of maybe understood why the Precipice Blades hit, or understood, okay, now I'm really scared. That Precipice Blades did a lot of damage. I can't keep continuously roosting. Now it's maybe like, okay, what do we do? Do we bring in the Mandibuzz and again try and handle the Groudon with it, or do we try and save, say, Mega Rayquaza for the Groudon, partner it with the Mandibuzz, try and keep Mandibuzz in the back this time, you go for the Tailwind and switch it out. And there's a lot of new options with this Mandibuzz because it seemed like such a threat, but it kind of found its Achilles heel here with that Roost. So it's going to really, now that's going to change the gameplay really much. And now we're going to see, like I said, we're going to see that that Mandibuzz kind of alter its strategy, and we're going to see Allan alter its strategy, or Terry alter its strategy with the Mandibuzz. But the Mandibuzz now out in favor of Rayquaza, and Amoonguss stays in, but Allan going to use Excelgor and Salamence. First time we're seeing Salamence from Allan's side. So, you know, I'm looking at it right here. Mega Rayquaza is in it's in an interesting spot because Mega Rayquaza can easily knock out the Excelgor, but Excelgor really doesn't pose a huge threat at the moment. It can lower, obviously, the and we're gonna see Salaman's Mega first, but we're you know, Mega Rayquaza here can go for the Dragon Set to knock out the Excelgor, but the Excelgor doesn't have too much that it can do. I'm not sure Allan's strategy here. Maybe go Final Gambit onto. Maybe they're going to try and Final Gambit onto the Mandibuzz if they brought it back in, or now you can do that onto the Mega Rayquaza and go for Hyper Voice. But don't forget, Excelgor did not lose its item, so it might not be fastest on the field yet. And we're going to see, actually, the Amoonguss Protect right off the bat, so it's not going to go for the Rage Powder. It wants to save itself. And Excelgor going for Struggle Bug onto the Amoonguss and the Rayquaza. So that's important, because the Rayquaza, if it's carrying Focus Sash, is gone. We haven't really seen its item. Double Edge, targeting the Amoonguss slot, and then Dragon Ascent from this Rayquaza. So now we onto the Excelgor, which will most likely knock it out. So with the Rayquaza, it's kind of important to know it got hit by the Struggle Bug. The Amoonguss did not. That Amoonguss is going to stay at full health, like it just came out onto the field going into the second turn. That's something that we've seen Allan struggle with a little bit, was that Amoonguss. So unfortunately, it's gonna stay on the field. Luckily, Allan has Tapu Lele, which can help knock it out with a Psychic attack, maybe Hyper Voice and Psychic. But you know, I think right here, Allan's got that edge when it comes to. Well, it really depends on his moves. Is this Tapu Lele his choice Scarf? We're gonna see Rage Powder first, but if this Tapu Lele's choice Scarf is gonna be able to knock out this Amoonguss. Otherwise, there's a chance, and it was going to go for Dazzling Gleam, so it looks like it is Choice Scarf onto Dazzling Gleam, because it was able to outspeed that Mega Salamence and Mega Rayquaza. The Double Edge Dazzling Gleam is going to be enough to knock out the Amoonguss, but it does keep Mega Rayquaza up for another turn. So now, with this Dragon Ascent, this can target really either one and deal a great amount of damage. It's going to target Tapu Lele, and that Tapu Lele is going to get down to just above, or just under really a third of its health. Does weaken this Rayquaza, but now we know a couple things. Salamence is going to be faster than Rayquaza. And we're going to see Xerneas come out. Oh, now this is a really nice spot for Terry to set up the Xerneas. You do have the double edge, which you have to be scared of, but we know Tapu Lele has Dazzling Gleam. We also know that Salamence, with it at half health, you might not even have to set up the Xerneas. Maybe just go straight for the Xerneas attack. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a double edge try and target. You know, it's interesting. I'm looking at it, I think Double Edge is going to try and target the Rayquaza, and we're going to see, the Xerneas, we see Moonblast, or Dazzling Gleam again. But we're going to see Rayquaza swap out into Mandibuzz. So there's the Mandibuzz that we saw earlier. That almost took out the Groudon. Dazzling Gleam, but we're going to see that Roselia Berry once again from the Mandibuzz doesn't do very much on the either. Double edge from that Salamence, like I thought, going to go attack that Xerneas, but Xerneas is going to be bulky enough to take it, and there is another Dazzling Gleam, this time from the Xerneas onto Allan's side, which is going to pick up the KO on both Tapu Lele and Salamence. And I think Terry might have taken this match with that one move. Allan down to one Pokemon, Terry's got 3, he's got Tailwind that he can set up with a Mandibuzz, and then you go for that and just partner that Mandibuzz with Mega Rayquaza to knock out the Groudon. Xerneas kind of going to act as bait here. It can provide another Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast if it really wants to just chip the damage a little bit. But I think the best strategy to go for right now is set up that Tailwind so your Mandibuzz is faster than the Groudon and finish it. Now, Allan here, he does have a shot. I think if he goes for Eruption and critical hits it, we'll see. Actually, you're going to see Xerneas go for Geomancy. So, possibly just trying to survive, see if the Eruption won't do that much. We're gonna, could be a foul play incoming from the Mandibuzz, but, you know, actually, the Tailwind hasn't been set up, so the Groudon's going to be a bit faster. And there's the Eruption. So, it looks like Xerneas was just trying to maybe survive with that Geomancy. It's not going to do anything. It's going to get it knocked out. And now Mandibuzz, in red health, goes for foul play. So not going to set up the Tailwind. Going to go straight up for an attack with foul play. Does, like I said, just about 50%, a little over. And now with Mega Rayquaza in play. Ooh. Allan might take this match now looking at it. You know, it's going to come down to his Mega Rayquaza hit. We know that Mandibuzz is slower than a Mega Rayquaza. The Eruption does no longer have the Sun. So there is a shot that the Eruption will, you know, I think you have to hope for a critical hit on the Rayquaza because it's down to half health. Rayquaza is faster and has Earth Power, actually, so it doesn't even matter. Rayquaza takes it. Terry takes the game. That was such an intense battle, I have to admit. I mean, Allan, last minute, he came in there. He came out ahead with the Groudon in the end, and then later you see him putting up a real fighting chance. That could have gone either way if that Rayquaza didn't have Earth Power, but it had Earth Power and was able to knock it out. That was really exciting, really good match, and well done to both players. And but that's not the only match we have. We still have plenty more coming up, so stick around. Grookey wants you to stick around here. See, he's nodding. Can't take out the drumstick. Oh well, but he would play like a little song for you if he could, but he can't. So stick around.